money in the first week as a floating pub, and it did in an entire year as an art gallery, which might give you an indication to the sort of artists we are.
Which one?
And on the left again, behind the trees, is Whitehall Court Mansion, home to the 5-star Royal Horse Guards Parade Hotel. Inside this building is where Sir Winston Churchill and his wartime offices, and they are now open to the public, the War Rooms Museum. Now if you're on the top deck, please wave and smile at the people. That's it, we get their attention. And that's it, if you get a wave back, it just means they're on holiday. So, hello, good evening. So this is Charing Cross Railway Bridge. Keep waving, keep smiling, hello. Good evening. And on your right, the Royal Festival Hall, the last remaining venue from the Festival of Great Britain. And this was the War Morale Festival for the nation, held in 1951. Many famous artists, they have performed in here. Whitney Houston, Pavarotti, David Bowie, Amy Winehouse, even Frank Sinatra has performed in here. All of whom have since very sadly passed away. So all we're waiting for is the Justin Bieber concert. Unfortunately, they said it's too late now to say sorry. And we love him really. On your left, you see the building with the green tiled roof, with the singular flag mast. Okay, that is the Savoy Hotel, and that is one of London's cheaper bed and breakfasts. And the cheapest room in the Savoy Hotel, we're looking at about £6,000 per night. That does come, you get a complimentary English breakfast, and apparently you get 2 sausages.
Earlier today, and I was like,
Waterloo Bridge, like they're happy, look, hello. So this is Waterloo Road Bridge, and it is known in London as the Ladies' Bridge. Constructed by a female workforce during the Second World War. So at the time, the men folk, they were away fighting. The land army, the ladies, they stepped in and they built Waterloo Bridge. And that is still today the only bridge ever to be finished on time and under budget. So well done to the ladies. Now on your left here, if you follow these boats along to your left, and on the end of the pier, you'll see this black and white ship with the glass roof. Okay, now this is the old St. Catherine. Now this ship, it used to be the Royal Barge. So if any members of the royal family, if they would travel out here on the river, and this was the ship they sailed on. And as you can all see, it's looking a bit sad and sorry for itself today. It's a little bit neglected. The royal family today, they have a new boat, the Gloriana, which is beautifully detailed, beautifully hand-painted in gold. And they just leave that one there for when Harry and Meghan return to London. So it is the spare boat today. And on your left, there's another City Cruises vessel there, the Millennium Time. It's identical to this one. And on that boat, the door is shut and there is no commentary being provided. Okay, unfortunately, the passengers on that boat, they've been left in silence, which is a terrible shame. How am I doing so far? Is everybody happy still? Yeah. Would you like me to continue? Fantastic. Thank you for your encouragement. So we are travelling with the tide, as I mentioned. The tide is going out. The level is now dropping. And look to your right, see this red brick building with the Oxo Tower. This is called Stamford Wharf. Now this was originally a cold storage meat warehouse, and it was owned by the Stock and Gravy Cube Company that we have here in this country. If you're not familiar, it's a little stock cube, makes a beef gravy, makes like a gravy. Now you may or may not have noticed, there's no advertisements along the banks of the river. You don't see any golden arches, Coca-Cola, Starbucks. It's a nice escape from it, to be honest. And that is because the River Thames, it is a royal highway, a King's waterway, and the advertisement is forbidden. However, when the architect designed the Oxo Tower, he cleverly designed the company branding into the windows to get past this law. They were taken to court, they won their day. They said it was a coincidence. It was never intended to spell the company name, and coincidentally it's illuminated with these bright neon lights of an evening, but has become a bit of an iconic landmark. That's the only advert you see. On the left, again illuminated beautifully, now is the old City of London School. That's the building with the sloping roof and the arched windows. If you look closely at the building, in between the archways, there are 4 figures. And they are from left to right: John Milton, Sir Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare and Sir Isaac Newton. And they are four of this country's leading thinkers, great scholars, carved into the old building. Blackfriars Road Bridge opened in 1869. Now these bridges here, you've got the road and railway bridges, very close together. They actually form a tunnel. And this is now known on the river as the Thames Tunnel of Love. Legend has it, as we pass beneath these bridges, if you are travelling with a loved one, turn to your loved ones, give them a kiss, and you'll be blessed with many years of health and happiness within your relationship. So don't be shy, give your loved ones a kiss. Now, sometimes this boat, it doesn't fit underneath these bridges. So at the moment we've got enough clearance. As I mentioned, the tide is now going down. So when the tide rises, we lose clearance. And that is part of our discipline to become captains on this river. To obtain our license, we learn all the individual arches of 32 bridges, part of what we have to learn for our apprenticeship. And looking up to your left, a beautiful view of the magnificent dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece. It was completed in 1710. St. Paul's was the tallest building in London, right up until 1962. Before then, it was actually illegal to build anything taller than St. Paul's. It took 35 years to build, and the architect himself, he's buried in the crypt alongside Admiral Lord Nelson, the Iron Duke, the Duke of Wellington, and Alexander Fleming, the man who discovered penicillin. They're all laid to rest at the crypt in St. Paul's Cathedral. Now, is anyone here tomorrow morning? Anyone in London still tomorrow? Yes? If you'd like to go to St. Paul's, folks, the best time to visit is on a Sunday morning, as you can visit St. Paul's for free on a Sunday. It is an active place of worship for the Church of England. I think for the rest of the week, the general admission is about £30 each. If you go on a Sunday morning, you are, all of you, invited to take part in the Sunday service. So a little tip from me. Just pass beneath the Millennium Footbridge, excuse me. And on the right, the white timber frame building with the thatched roof is William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now this building, it's an exact replica to the style of playhouse that would have stood here in the entertainment area of Bankside. And inside, they reenact all of the old Shakespearean plays. They're all played out in the traditional manner. No electricity, no stage lighting, no amplification. And you can see a live performance of the Globe. Fantastic value. As little as £10 each, ladies and gents. Only a tenner, which is very good value for a live commentary, especially in London. Now, just before the next bridge, you'll see a staircase. Okay, just here to your right. Now, historically, this is how you would have crossed the river in London before the bridges. Okay, for hundreds of years, there was only one bridge, and that was London Bridge. So before the bridges, you'd walk down these steps, you would board a waterman's ferry. You would pay your fare in a small silver bucket, and they would row you across the river to your desired destination. And that is a tradition that still continues in London, even today. Watermen like us carrying passengers like yourself. So the licence we hold is a very historic licence. And on your right, see the pretty lights here, the pub, the Anchor with the golden sign, established in 1615. So there's been a riverside pub here for over 400 years. And the likes of William Shakespeare, Samuel Pepys, Charles Dickens, myself and the captain, just a few of the famous Englishmen to have drank in this pub. And we have decided we are going there this evening, okay? When we finish work, me and the captain and our lovely crew, we will head straight to the Anchor pub, and it is where we conduct our research, ladies and gents. So if you'd like to join us in there, maybe you'd like to buy us a drink, that's where we'll be tonight, all for educational purposes. Now on your right, there's a little pirate ship, can you see it there in between the buildings? That is a sea-going replica of Sir Francis Drake's vessel. It's called the Golden Hind. Sir Francis Drake, well, he was the first English captain to circumnavigate or sail around the world. The ship you see here is a sea-going replica. It's been around the world twice, and as it stands, it is a little museum in the dock today. They've actually taken it back. It's undergoing some maintenance recently, as it will be sailing again for a third and final voyage. But it's a little museum today. And the bridge ahead of us, this is London Bridge. Okay, this is it, folks, the world famous London Bridge. And with your cameras, as we get a bit closer, if you look on your left, you'll see the name, London Bridge. Now this is said to be the 5th London Bridge to have crossed the river at this location in as many as 2,000 years. The Romans, they built the first ever river crossing here in around 43 AD. This present day bridge, the one you're looking at, opened in 1973 by Queen Elizabeth II. The old London Bridge before this one, in the 1960s, it was taken down stone by stone. Each individual stone was numbered. It was packed up on a ship, shipped across the Atlantic, and reassembled in Lake Havasu City, which is in Arizona in the USA. So the old London Bridge that used to be there, it is now in America, bought by Robert McCulloch for $2 million in the late 1960s. The blue glass building to your left is home to the London Association of Window Cleaners. It's where they do their window cleaning apprenticeship, and when they qualify, they go and clean the shards on the right. So looking up to your right, there's the shards. You've probably seen it on your travels. It is the UK's tallest building. So it's over 1,000 feet tall. It goes up 95 stories, and up there on the 72nd floor, there is a public viewing gallery. Now they will charge you £30 each to go up there. So another little tip from me, folks, go to that building on the left instead. See the building that gets wider as it gets taller, with the crane sticking up. Okay, at the top of that building is London's Sky Garden, and you go up there for free, folks. Okay, it doesn't cost a penny. There is a free public viewing gallery. Now it is popular. They do recommend you book ahead, but you can just turn up. And when you get there, there's a bar, a restaurant, and a garden. It's completely free, but the money you save is spent at the bar. Now on your right, London's very own warship, the HMS Belfast, permanently moored here, has been since the early 1970s. It's a C-35 town-class cruiser, saw action in the Second World War, last fired its guns in the Korean campaign in the early 1950s. It was the flagship for the United Nations. And it was built in Belfast, in Northern Ireland, at the Harland and Wolff shipyard, which is the same place that built the ill-fated Titanic. So thankfully this one was a lot more successful. It is open to the public. Okay, it's a floating museum. It's part of the Imperial War Museum, and it is a very good day out for all the family on board the Belfast. Now ahead of us is the iconic Tower Bridge. Okay, when it's clear and safe to do so, we're going to turn the boat, folks. Okay, so stay where you are, let us position the boats. Okay, we're on a sightseeing cruise, and we'd like to get you a nice picture. Okay, so what we like to do is when it is clear and safe to do so, the captain will manoeuvre the boat, and this is one of the best times to see Tower Bridge, as it is beautifully illuminated of an evening. You do get a different perspective of the buildings and bridges as the sun goes down, as it gets dark. It's been a lovely evening cruise down the river. So a nice way to finish with the bridge ahead of you. Now Tower Bridge, it is unique. It's the only bridge of its kind in the world, being both suspension bridge and bascule bridge. So the bascule part, well, that is the middle section, and it opens like a double-sided drawbridge, and this will allow large ships or tall-masted vessels in and out of the City of London. So in each of the bridge footings there is a counterweight mechanism, and that is what causes each of the bascules to open. They can open to up to a 90-degree position in around 45 seconds. It's opened quite a few times today. It's a test run this morning. It's open for a paddle steamer ship, the Waverley, came up, and that cruise ship, you might have been in London earlier, do you remember the cruise ship was alongside the warship? No longer there, that went down through a couple of hours ago, back out to sea. Now Tower Bridge was completed in the year 1894, making it 131 years old. Now some say it looks older, but it was built in keeping with the Tower of London on your right, which is considerably older. Nearly 1,000 years of English and French history concealed at the Tower of London. The oldest part being the centre keep with the 4 turrets. That is known as the White Tower, or the Norman's Keep, and construction started in 1078 during the reign of William the Conqueror. So very impressive, nearly 1,000 years old. Probably most famously known, or infamously known, as a place of torture, imprisonment and execution. And before we make our way into the pier, folks, one last point of interest. On your right, with your cameras, there's the Traitor's Gate. Okay, that is where you would have been taken if you were found guilty of treason. Okay, you'd be rowed down the river. If you were a traitor, up at Westminster, rowed down the river, taken through this archway, where you would have the tower, and the following morning, you would have had your heads surgically removed from your shoulders with a large blunt axe and a chopping block. Now, you can't see the bloody tower as it's behind the bloody trees, but it is over there somewhere. Right, folks, we'll finish up getting your pictures, and we are going to make our way into the pier, where, as mentioned, this boat will terminate. Now, as we go in...
And then he just got up and he wanted noodles. So it wasn't time for